Imagine this. There are over 200 billion galaxies, each with billions of stars and trillions of planets that could host life. Statistically, the universe should be overflowing with civilizations. So why is it silent? Why haven't we heard a single signal, seen a single spacecraft, or found even one trace of alien life? This is the Fermi Paradox, the greatest cosmic mystery of all time. The paradox in simple terms. In the 1950s, physicist Enrico Fermi asked a deceptively simple question. Where is everybody? At the time, scientists already knew that the galaxy was vast and ancient. Even traveling at a fraction of the speed of light, an intelligent civilization could, in theory, colonize the Milky Way within a few million years. That's a blink of an eye in cosmic terms. So if life can arise on Earth, why hasn't it appeared elsewhere or visited us? The math says alien civilizations should exist. The silence says they don't. That's the paradox. The numbers, why we should see aliens. Let's look at the odds. There are roughly 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. About 1 in 5 may have Earth-like planets. That's 80 billion potential homes for life in our galaxy alone. If even a tiny fraction of those worlds developed intelligent life, we should see evidence, radio signals, megastructures, or probes. But we don't. This contrast between expectation and observation drives the Fermi Paradox.
The universe looks alive with potential, yet dead quiet.
Possible explanation number 1. We're early. One theory is simple. Maybe we're just the first. The conditions for intelligent life might only recently have become favorable. If so, humans could be one of the earliest civilizations to emerge, destined to explore first before others evolve. It's a comforting thought. Not that we're alone, but that we're pioneers, standing at the dawn of the cosmic age. Possible explanation number 2. Life is rare. Another possibility is that life itself is incredibly rare. Earth may be the result of a perfect cosmic lottery. The right distance from the sun, the right atmosphere, magnetic protection, liquid water, plate tectonics, and a stable star. If even one of those ingredients is missing elsewhere, life might simply never get started. We could be one of the only lucky planets where chemistry crossed the line into biology. Possible explanation number 3. Intelligent life destroys itself. Here's a darker answer. Maybe intelligent civilizations do arise, but they don't last long. Technology gives power, but also danger. Nuclear war, ecological collapse, artificial intelligence, or other self-made disasters could wipe out species before they ever reach the stars. This idea is called the Great Filter, the invisible barrier that stops civilizations from surviving long enough to explore the galaxy. If the Great Filter lies ahead of us, that's terrifying. If it's behind us, it means we're one of the rare survivors. Either way, it's sobering. Possible explanation number 4. The zoo hypothesis. Maybe aliens are out there and they know about us. They're just choosing not to interfere. The zoo hypothesis suggests that advanced civilizations observe us the way humans observe animals in a protected reserve. They might be waiting for us to reach a certain level of maturity before making contact. If true, Earth could be part of a vast galactic experiment, and we're the ones behind the glass, unaware. Possible explanation number 5. They're here, but we don't recognize them. What if alien life isn't carbon-based at all? What if it doesn't breathe oxygen, doesn't use radio waves, or doesn't even exist in the same dimensions we do? Advanced civilizations might be so far beyond us that we simply don't recognize their presence. They could communicate using quantum signals, neutrinos, or forms of energy we can't yet detect. To us, they'd appear invisible, not because they're hiding, but because we're too primitive to notice. Possible explanation number 6. The simulation theory. Some scientists and philosophers propose that reality itself might be a simulation, and that the reason we don't see aliens is because they're not programmed into this version of the universe. This idea sounds wild, but it ties back to the holographic and quantum theories of information. If reality is a coded system, maybe intelligent life elsewhere simply exists outside our dataset. we might be inside one level of a much larger cosmic architecture. Possible explanation. Number 7. Communication is harder than we think. Even if other civilizations exist, communicating across thousands of light years is nearly impossible. Radio waves weaken over distance. Civilizations might use signals we don't understand. Or maybe their messages simply haven't reached us yet, or ours haven't reached them. We've only been broadcasting radio for about a century. That's barely enough time for our signals to reach even a few hundred nearby stars. In cosmic terms, we've only just begun to whisper. Possible explanation number 8, the dark forest theory. Popularized by science fiction, this theory imagines the universe as a dark forest. Every civilization is a hunter. They stay quiet because any signal could reveal their location to something more powerful, something dangerous. In this view, silence is survival. Intelligent life hides, not because it doesn't exist, but because it knows what happens when you announce yourself in a vast, unknown galaxy. It's a chilling thought, but also one that explains the silence without assuming emptiness. The search for answers. Despite the silence, our search continues. Projects like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, scan the sky for signals. New telescopes like JWST and FAST are more sensitive than ever, capable of detecting faint radio patterns or chemical fingerprints in exoplanet atmospheres. We've already found thousands of planets orbiting other stars, some in the so-called habitable zone. Each discovery brings us closer to knowing if we're alone or not. What the paradox says about us. The Fermi Paradox isn't just about aliens. It's about us. It forces us to reflect on our place in the cosmos, on our responsibility as a young civilization. It reminds us that survival isn't guaranteed, and that if intelligent life is rare, we carry a unique burden to protect it, to last long enough to look outward. Maybe the silence isn't a sign of emptiness, but an invitation, a challenge to become the voice that breaks it. So, where are all the aliens? Maybe they're gone. Maybe they're hiding. Maybe they're watching. Or maybe they're still on their way. The truth is, we don't know. But the very act of asking connects us to something greater. It reminds us that curiosity is what makes us human, the drive to understand, to listen, to reach beyond the stars. And one day, perhaps, that silence will finally answer back.